Lewis, you have some great new music out right now. I'm curious, who are some of the artists that influenced you when you were growing up?
Oh man, that's a plethora. That's a big loaded question right there. I grew up on Southern gospel music, church music. Honestly, it's kind of good, like Gold City, the Cathedral, the Gaithers, and stuff like that. When I was really young, my dad and my mom they sang, growing up in church, stuff like that. Funny story I always like to tell my mom and all of her sisters. They always sang around the churches, and their group was called the Lewis Sisters. My mom's maiden name was Lewis, and so her three oldest sisters went to Nashville years ago and recorded a little 5 song EP record, vinyl, right there on Music Row years ago. So they were named the Lewis Sisters, stuff like that. But my dad sings, and when I said, me, just a bunch of Southern gospel influences. But then, when I got a little bit older of age, we always were drawn around country music. So it was like George Strait, Garth Brooks, and Travis Tritt, Randy Travis. Those are kind of a lot of my things. But then I moved a little further from there, and further in my life, I got into rock and roll. I love rock and roll. Rock and roll is like deep in my soul. It's like a band called Fuel was probably my biggest influence. A little song called there is called Hemorrhage. It's one of my favorite songs I've ever kind of covered with my band and stuff like that. Man, it's just I got a pretty big spectrum of music. I mean, I love hip hop stuff like that, like Tupac and Big E. Those are my I love that Bone Thugs and Harmony. It's a
Oh
really
my
big
goodness.
wide spectrum of music what I grew up on. And so when you hear my music, it's kind of I guess a big collage of all that kind of put into one. I'm also from South Carolina, Sumter, South Carolina, and from the swampy parts of it. And so I got that it's like a little southern gospel-y, but I love hip hop, rock and roll kind of bluesy thing. It's because it's a mixture. It's definitely my own sound, and it's really cool. So, but I guess there's a bunch of genres kind of coming up from there. So
You have a wonderful song out now, NASCAR Fast. I'm
yeah.
sure everyone is messaging you about how wonderful it is and what they enjoy most about it. Where did this concept come from?
The concept of NASCAR Fast, when it came out, when we put that out, because we're on a streak this year about putting out a lot of music, but NASCAR Fast was the first of it. And man, that idea came to me on the way to the right that day. I was like, I was listening to a bunch of couples. It was always turning the radio and listening to what's out there and kind of see what what I'm contending with and stuff like when I go to writers' rooms. And so we walked in the room and I was like, man, there hadn't been really a song derived, from NASCAR and like really talks about NASCAR terms, really kind of pointing attention to NASCAR and how I think, very, a big anchor of what country music is. NASCAR's in it. Your NASCAR fans are country fans. For the most of them, you're really southeast kind of world wide. And so, um, and I grew up, growing up at Sumter. We had Darlington Raceway, probably about 45 minutes up the road, and we also in our hometown, Sumter. In Sumter, we had a little dirt track called Sumter Speedway. So I grew up around races stuff like, but I grew up in the period when it was like Dale Earnhardt Jr. or no Dale Earnhardt, and then I was there for Dale Earnhardt Jr. as well. But when it was Dale Earnhardt, it was Jeff Gordon, it was the Wallaces, it was Richard Petty and all that stuff. And so that's kind of the era I grew up with. But then life came around, and so I kind of withered away a little bit from NASCAR. And but when it came to whenever we wanted to write this song, I was like, man, I jumped in a really good room, and when I threw that idea out there, everybody's kind of jumped in. Man, that's a really cool idea. And so the idea of the song is really like if I was like a dad or something like that in NASCAR, what kind of advice would I give a younger generation or a son, or daughter, or whatever, about life lessons? And so we're like, you know what? In NASCAR terms, there's a lot of life lessons in NASCAR. And so if you listen to my song, NASCAR Fast, you'll see a whole bunch of different little life lessons, like little wordings in there, like you can't be afraid to crash. You can't take stuff like that. If you do crash, you better have a bunch of buddies to get you back on track, right? And so that's your pit
Absolutely.
crew, stuff like that. And also life goes by NASCAR fast. It goes by really fast, and I've noticed that a lot more now that I got my 2-year-old daughter. I mean, it feels like just like yesterday. I just had my beautiful little baby, sweet girl, and now she's 2 years old, running around looking like a daggone teenager almost. And so uh, and it just went by so fast. And so for me, it's just the clock don't stop real quick. And if you close your eyes too long, you miss a lot of stuff. So therefore, you gotta keep it wide open, keep it pedal down, and hopefully you can catch up all the moments you can when it's going by so fast.
What is your songwriting process? Do you need to have sort of that concept before you craft music around it, or is it different every time?
I think it's different every time for me. I generally try and have an idea or like some kind of starter when I walk into a write. But I enjoy co-writing. I enjoy it because I feel like there's a couple different type of people in this world, and one of them are artists, one of them are writers, and then one of them kind of do both or one or the other. They're better at one or the other, you know. And so for me, I love being the artist. I love being the showman. I love being on stage. That's where my heart, lives. But I love writing music too, because I mean, I love being able to get my ideas across. Because most of the ideas I try and sing about are stuff that I've been through in my life, and I feel like that's the point of music is whether it's good or bad. I feel like the point of music in general is just to let people know out there that you know they're not alone in whatever situation they're in. And so for me, I've been through the heartbreaks, I've been through the best times, I've been through the down times, I've been through the dark times, but I've been through the bright times. And so for me, I try and shed light on those, and for me, it's just a kind of a lesson of like, you're not alone out there if you've been through some dark times. You can make it through it to a brighter day. I mean, look at this blue sky behind me right here. So I mean, it's the day is bright today, and so I try and strive every day to somehow bring a smile to somebody's face. And when I think about music, whether it brings a sadness or whether it brings happiness, I feel like that kind of resides on the idea. And so, but I think you have to be able to sing about all of it because that's what music is. It just I think it's there. It's here to help for healing, and it's here to for awareness as well.
How much of a hand then do you have on the production side of the music that you make?
Quite a bit now these days. When I first started, like I said, I've had my great producer Ben Simonetti, and my brother Lee Brice. So he's helped me produce all my stuff coming up so far. And for this past music though, like I said, I've learned so much from the past music that I've released up to now. And for these past few songs like NASCAR Fast, and I got a couple more coming out right now. I got a new one out called Love Right, and we got Dying to Dance coming. Um, I've had my hands a lot more hands on this time, and so like I've actually been in the studio, helped directing the band. You really kind of putting across my like the vibe wise, like hey man, this song needs to have like a Coldplay vibe mixed in with BB King, and so I've had a lot more fun like production wise. Like yeah, I put my name on it in the world of like because I have my hands on, I help create the ideas, or at least I can talk to because I'm not a great player. I could play here and there, and I could play different multiple instruments, but not to the scale of what a great musician can. But I could talk to somebody about it. It's like the game of golf. I'm not great at golf, but I could tell somebody how to golf. you know. But and I also know my sound. I'm very I've grown a lot in that world of like know what I want to sound like, what the message I want to put across is, and so when it comes to production world, my hands are way deep in it, and that's kind of how I try and figure my most of my business in general. I like to know all the different parts of the business because the music business is such a crazy world, and there's so many different avenues and faucets you got to kind of open and reopen and pull and push and this that and the other. Hurry up and wait. And so for me, I like to know a little bit about everything. And my daddy always said, jack of all trades, but a master of none. And so I I may maybe not master all of them, but I'm trying to be a jack of all of them. So
Okay, well, we talked about a number of singles out now. Is this a prelude to a full album or an EP by chance?
yes, it is. This is all adding up. Like this year, last like I said last year, back up a little bit. Last year, we had a song out called "She Loves My Country." It did great. It did awesome. But it took us a whole year because we went to radio with it last year, and it took us a whole year to really promote the song. And it did great. It got number two on independent radio, on independent country music radio, which is huge. They got like in the 50s for mainstream country music. I was up there with the big dogs, and we did great for an independent artist. That's a big thing to talk about. And so we did that. But on the flip side, like as an independent artist, our game generally, since we as independent artists, we own our music. So for the way we're able to make money off our music is if we own the masters. And so, and especially if it's in the streaming world. And so my game is a streaming world currently, and so my goal, and we only put one song out last year. When you do that in the streaming world, your numbers, your listeners go down because your streamers, they want to hear music constantly, back to back to back to back. And so I've been wanting to do this for a minute, just try to method out. And since this year, I put out two songs so far this year, and NASCAR Fast was the first, and then we have Love Right Out currently. Right, we just put Love Right Out because we just want to push it and see what happens. And yeah, man, my monthly listeners went from 50,000 up to 100,000 within 6 weeks, and so
Mhm.
it's just really proven the fact that there's so many different avenues you take in this music business. And for me, I think my lane is just putting out as much music as I possibly can because I think my fans are hungry. They're hungry for good music and for new music, and I got a little basket full of good music. So I'm excited about this year, putting out a whole bunch of stuff and. Like I said, we have our next song coming out, I think July 17th. It's called Dying to Dance. And right now we have Love Right Out, and it's doing great. It's crushing on Spotify. NASCAR Fast is still doing good. I'm just trying to stack songs on top of each other. And yes, my goal is to stack them up and then build into rather an EP or an album that could come out next year.
Have you some upcoming live shows that people can look out for?
Absolutely. Next weekend, June 25th, will be in Erie, Pennsylvania for 250th celebration of this beautiful, bold country. Right there in the middle of the street, and we're right there on their state street. We'll have a good time with that. I got the full band coming up there. Then July 4th, we're headed to Arkansas, Sialom or something. I think it's Sialom. I can't pronounce it correctly, but I think it's Sialom, Arkansas for July 4th. We were right downtown for that as well, for a big fireworks display. So we're going to be coming there with flying colors, to celebrate this country as well. And after that, I got a couple full band shows with my brother Lee Brice at the end of July. And also you can find all these shows. Look up lewisbrice.com, and that'll take you to all my web pages and all my dates and everything and my music. And after that in August, I got a couple other shows. My buddy Nick Norman and Nico Moon, and we're just kind of all over the place. We're booking them up, and we're knocking them down.
What can fans expect from a live Lewis Brice show?
Oh man, you expect fireworks like you see in a fireworks show. A lot of sweat, a lot of rock and roll, but also there's a subtle side to me whenever because I got a few songs. My biggest song called "It's You," it's covered almost 25 million streams as an independent artist, and that's a big number. I never thought I'd ever see a million as a country boy from South Carolina. But now we're doing pretty good overall with music. We're crossing about 50 million or 75 million, and we're staying busy, and for me, but when you see my show, you're gonna see emotion. You're gonna see raw talent between me and my band. I have an incredible band. They're high energy. I could I'm out on the fireworks. They really do. They blast off, and whenever we get on stage, for us, a lot of people don't see the behind the scenes work. What they see is on stage, which they say that's work. That's not work for us. That's our candy store. That is our gift of why we work. And so, to be on stage. And so, but man, when you see my show, there's a lot of passion in it. Good vocals, high energy guitar solos. My drummer is a rock star. Yeah, I mean, I tell you, I have to tell my drummer like, man. Well, I tell my whole band, I say, y'all. When I get on stage, I do nothing but rock and roll. I dare y'all to try to outperform me. And so I put it on my band to try and outperform me. Because for me, when I'm on stage with my full band, I want everybody to be at their top level and putting on a show. Because everybody up there in my band is a character, and I think they help. They help. They really. I call them escorts for a reason because they escort me to the stage and they help me wherever I need it.
Is there an artist you would love to collaborate with on music in the future?
Man, there's so many right now. There's a lot of new artists I love right now, but honestly, I'm gonna keep saying, I'm gonna keep throwing it out there until it happens. Dirk Bentley, where you at, buddy? Dirk Bentley. One day, I've vowed to do this. One day, I'm going to do a collab with Dirk Bentley. I've been wanting to do it. I've been putting it out there. Um, I don't know. I just think it'd be cool. I love Dirks' music. I love what he does. I love, as a person and stuff like that. So yeah, probably I think Dirks Bentley collab would be my right now currently would be my dream thing. It'd be awesome.
What would you like to say then to everyone who are fans and supporters of the incredible music you keep putting out?
Keep listening, keep your ears open, keep following me, spread my music. Because I tell you, every time you share my music, and I get another fan, because I feel like I've always told everybody my motto is put me in front of the people. The rest is in my hands. I'll sell what I got. I can promise you. You're not going to turn away once you see me or once you hear me. I'm very confident in my music. I love it. Because my music is about real life situations, what we've gone through. Well, at least what I've been through, as well. And I have been through hardships. But a lot of times I sing about where I'm at in life, and right now where at life is really good. I'm married to a smoking hot woman, and she's a badass, and I love her to death. And I have a beautiful little 2-year-old girl. I tell you, man. And my wife, she's the best mama. She's so good with our little girl, and my little girl is just a oof, man. She's already off the charts tall. She's like 3'1" and 2 years old. Crazy. And so, but I'm a very very blessed man. And but the cool thing is, I can still sing about stuff I've been through, and because I never want to pigeonhole myself to music because I think everybody has different problems and everybody kind of reads. Yeah, but also I don't want to sing about stuff that I haven't been through because I feel like my fans could tell whether this could be authentic or not. And so the only thing I know how to sing about is what I know. And what I know, but right now is what I know is I have a beautiful life and I'm very, very, very fortunate and blessed. And yeah, it's just we got a lot more coming, a lot of music coming this year. And I got so many different ideas. You never know, I might surprise somebody with a whole different genre of music. So it might be fun.